Well, Wales World Cup campaign got off to a good start with a 1-1 draw against USA. 2 late goals against Iran meant that they needed a big win against England yesterday. Wales lead Qatar with just 1 point and 1 goal. Now, speaking on the Sports Bar last night, Jason Cundy, he didn't hold back in his assessment of the Wales side.
That Red Dragon, he'd go trying to breathe fire out, and there'd be the worst little puff of nothing coming out of his mouth. They were pitiful, embarrassing. They've shamed British football, I'm afraid.
Oh, Jason, come on. You're going a bit strong here.
They have waited, was it 60-something years?
64.
There's a reason why they've not been in the World Cup for 64 years, and they have finished bottom behind Iran. Let me just tell you this, right? Qatar, the host nation.
Yeah.
They got the same amount of goals as them, and they got 1 more point than Qatar. And the only reason Qatar are there is because it's their tournament. They are the worst side at this World Cup by some distance. They have been an absolute disgrace.
Wow. You know what? Jason Cundy, as much as I love you, I will defend Wales there because that was far, far too deep. Let's get someone on who also will probably defend Wales as well. It's former Wales striker Dean Saunders. Dino, good morning.
Good morning, Dino. How are you this morning, Paul?
Well,
sorry for you last night, eh?
Disappointed, obviously, but you've got to get back up off the floor, haven't you? On we go.
Yeah.
You know, but do you know Jason there? I work with him and I get on well with him.
However.
And I'm just going to laugh at that whole episode that he just spurted out. I'm just going to laugh. If he'd have said one thing, if he'd have said, like, I thought Wales were a disgrace, then that would have hurt more than the drivel he's just spun out over about 5 minutes. Somebody did say, has Jason played in the World Cup? I'm not saying it. I'm only telling you what the spirits are telling me.
Dino, what did you think overall when you watched the game last night?
Well, I just thought at 0-0 at half-time, I thought this is still on here. A 1-0 win. The other game was 1-0. Mm-hmm. That could have easily ended in a draw, as we've seen at the end. Yeah. And I thought at 1-0, England have had one chance. Rashford got cut through. You know, Robert Page played a back four last night, played, you know, like 4-5-1 basically. And obviously there's gaps at the sides of the centre-backs now, which is why we always played 3, so there's no gaps. And Rashford got in that gap, made a great run. Danny Ward's made a good save, but that was it, really. And then within 90 seconds, they've scored from a free kick. Danny Ward played for me at Wrexham, so I've always been honest with him. He took a step the wrong way. Yeah. The ball goes in the corner, but not right in the corner. Good strike from Rashford to hit the target. That's why people say hit the target. Anything can happen. He should have saved it. The second goal, 90 seconds later, playing out from the back. Ben Davies, who's normally reliable, gets caught on the ball. Phil Foden sneaks into the back post. Great cross from Harry Kane. But that was our own gift 90 seconds later. But at the end of the day, they got too much for us. For us we couldn't even say, let's try and score 4 goals, because if we can't do it. Yeah. We haven't got the tools. We've just about got the tools to stay in the game of football with them.
What do you think, Dean, looking at it, I remember you and I had the conversation before. I've got to say, every Welsh supporter I've spoken to, and I don't mean some of them, I mean every one of them, has taken the defeat on board. They're clearly disappointed, but they have refused point blank, all of them, to have a go at Ramsey, to have a go at Bale, or indeed to have a go at Rob Page, which I think is highly commendable. Given hindsight, do you think it was a tournament too far for Bale? I mean, he didn't. The first thing I've got to say is whether it's a tournament too far or not. Do you know, he didn't look 100% fit to me.
No, he's not. It's obvious. I mean, we've all seen him play. We all seen him run off the side of the pitch. Was it against in Spain, in Real Madrid?
Real Madrid.
He's run off the outside
Barcelona,
of the pitch.
sorry.
The length of the pitch. We've all seen him in full flight. And there's something wrong with him. Obviously. He can't get up to top speed. He can't. It's like as if he's saying, we've been there. If I stretch out here, my hamstring's going to go.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And he's scared because you know what's coming. You get that. It's like someone shoots you in the back of the leg. And you know it's coming, and he's probably had it so many times that he's thinking. But anyway, there's obviously something wrong with him. And it just shows, you can't come into the World Cup underprepared. We were underprepared, probably the unfittest team. And I don't mean fitness levels. I mean, as a group coming in, he's not right, he's not 100%, he's not 100%. And our three best players were the most damaged. Joe Allen, Aaron Ramsey, Gareth Bale. But they've got us to the World Cup. Gareth Bale pulled trees up against Ukraine. He pulled trees up against Austria. And on the pitch last night, I was just thinking, I know you can't run, but if we get a foul on the edge of their box, can you just plant it in the top corner like he normally does? But yeah, it's like you're with the heavyweights in the World Cup, aren't you? And you can't go in there without training. It's like a boxer going into a world title fight without training.
Where are Wales now, Dean? Because looking at them, it might not be. They might go for another tournament, but it looks to me like a kind of a little bit of an end of an era with one or two players. That might be the case. It might not be, but it might be the case. Where are Wales now moving forward in terms of youngsters coming through, depth of the squad, management? Rob Page, what do you think his situation will be?
Well, you're right. We've had a good 10 years since the youngsters got put in. So John Toshak started it. We were just stumbling from group to group, not qualifying, and he went, right, scrap that. Brian Flynn was in charge of the under-17s, under-19s and under-21s. He was manager of all three teams. So John Toshak just said, give me your best under-21s and I'll give them all 50 caps by the time they're 25. They're going to get beat, they're going to learn, but they've got to tactically work out when you go into Germany away or you go into Spain away, what you do to get a result. He said they're going to have to learn that. So he put them all in. Gary Speed took over, put a bit of sort of modern spin on it, and then obviously Chris Coleman's got us to the Euros, then Giggsy takes over. We know what happened there. Pagey took over from Giggs, he's done really well. And now you're getting to the end where you're thinking, right, Bale's 33, Ramsey's 32, Joe Allen's 32. Lads, are you going to play on? Because I've now got to do the same thing again, push the under-21s up, 19s up to the 21s, 17s, and just put them in, because you can't buy players.
Well, they'll have inspired a generation.
Yeah.
This group of Wales players will have inspired a generation to play football rather than rugby in Wales.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that. I think, kids in Wales now want to be Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, and, they should be commended for that, for what they've done. I mean, this morning they must wake up and just think, they're so disappointed that they've been so woeful in this competition compared to even the standards they set. I know you said they rely heavily on the top players, but as a group, they've not got anywhere near what we're used to seeing in big games from all of the team.
Well, I never played in the World Cup. You never played in the World Cup, did you? Or did you? You did, didn't you? I don't know. Well, you probably can answer this. When you get here, you think, brilliant, we've got to the World Cup, and now, right, all my family are coming over. The whole nation now can't wait for the World Cup. All I need to do is have a good World Cup. And if you look at all three games, this is what the players will be disappointed. I didn't get a 7 out of 10 in any of the games.
Mentioned that.
Not even yesterday. I was trying to pick the man of the match for Wales, and I'm struggling. I think Laura said Joe Allen. Joe, with his heart, he will always give you what he's got. And I think his hamstring's gone again. Which is, he's got no...
Well, I saw him late on, obviously he's holding it.
But Bale, he's not fit. Ramsey's not been playing for Nice. You can't turn up not fit for the World Cup, but our country's in a different sort of state of affairs. We have to put them two on the pitch because we've got no one better.